You know, when you plan a road trip designed by your son, then when you understand that the Belt and Road Initiative is really an amazing initiative, having more than 75% of the world population connected, spending between 1 trillion to 8 trillion, which we try to find on the Wikipedia and everywhere. Unbelievable. This project is so huge. It is impressive. We have seen perfect roads, perfect infrastructure connecting east to west.
So the whole idea of the road trip came when I graduated from my studies. I wanted to drive through China to Mongolia. This was in June when we started to formulate the plan. However, I still had to finish my internship after my studies, which meant that I could only start driving in October. When we started to look at the weather, Mongolia became less and less appealing for a winter trip, as you can imagine. We started to see numbers like minus 20 degrees and minus 30 degrees. Then my dad came up with the idea, what if we drive to China from the Netherlands? That piqued my interest. The plan further developed and we settled on driving all the way to India, using the long way, passing through Central Asia and entering China to Pakistan, then finally crossing into India. Since I was only done in October and we had a limited time frame for our trip, we decided to have the car waiting for us in Turkey. The car would then be driven in the time I was still working in my internship from the Netherlands to Turkey, with my dad as the driver and my sister and my mom as co-drivers. My sister drove from the Netherlands to Bulgaria with my dad, and my mom took over from Bulgaria to Turkey. After that, I took over.
One more thing, we did this, of course, with our super favorite car, the Porsche Cayenne 2007 Trans-Siberia. Only 25, 26 cars were produced by Porsche to compete in the Moscow Ulaanbaatar Mongolia rally, and we were impressed with the car, with the standard engine, with the standard gearbox, with the standard differential. It did so well. More stories will follow, but the Cayenne in 2022 existed for 20 years, and that was also something for us that we said, like, a great car. Our car came second in the Trans-Siberia Rally in 2007, with the Italian team. We have all the livery, we have all the stickers still on from that time. We added a few for our charities because we thought it is a good idea to run every kilometer €1 for Kika, a Dutch charity fund for children with cancer, and for ZZF. And ZZF is a charity fund for rare diseases. We thank everybody for all the donations. Thank you very much. We're not yet finished with the trip, so please donate and find our link on our website. Thank you.
We started day one somewhere middle of September. It started with a drive of about 10 to 11 hours to Prague, which we wanted to power through. We found out that we needed a battery for the Starlink, which ended up not being used anyway, since the Starlink was banned in most countries. It was about 11 hours of perfect highways, no borders, and the Duitse Autobahn. But unfortunately, we could not drive fast because of the tent on the top of the roof. We stopped in Prague and slept there. Day two started in Prague, where we made our way to Lake Balaton throughout the day. We stopped for lunch in Bratislava in Slovakia, and the pierogi journey started here. We ate them at the largest restaurant in Central Europe, which brings us to the other largest point in Central Europe, which is the largest lake in Central Europe, where we went camping at Lake Balaton. We went to the Aldi to get all the essentials so we could make dinner at the camping, and we went past many different shops to get cough drops for my dad, but it didn't seem to exist in Hungary, which was pretty bizarre. When we arrived, it was dark, so I cooked in the dark while my dad made up the tent in the dark. We slept kind of peacefully. The roof tent was not so bad, but it was also never used after that. Day 3, we woke up nice and hot and sweaty, covered in mosquito bites from our camping trip. We also ended up waking extremely early and leaving because we were kind of done with camping. We ended up driving around Lake Balaton for a little bit, getting a healthy breakfast, and then moving on to Sziget in Hungary, where we had goulash, of course, a mandatory soup stop, and fish soup. Then we had our first real border crossing, which was into Serbia. We ate at a restaurant recommended by my friends, and all I can say is that it's very difficult for a vegetarian to be in Belgrado.
Oh, een drama.
I also got confirmation from my team of supervisors for my thesis that was complete. So even though the evening itself was a little disastrous because of the restaurant, the good news made up for it. We woke up somewhere in central Belgrado. We decided to get moving straight away since my mother was waiting on us in Sofia, Bulgaria. It was extremely hot again. The car has no insulation, so it was like sitting in a frying pan. My mother joined us. We had an amazing evening with the three of us. We had good food, good company, and I got to stay the night. Day 5 and the last day for me, I had to say farewell. But this was not a huge issue for me, since when I was dropped to the airport, the inside temperature of the car was about 40 or 50 degrees. We do have ACs. They were just not working properly and could not keep up with the extreme heat of the roof. And that was my journey. I flew back to Holland. I passed the ballot to my mother, who continued this journey forwards with my father to Turkey.
So now Celine is gone. No more nagging, no more talking. Anyway, peaceful. Wendy joined, my wife. More nagging, more talking. But anyway, it was beautiful to have Celine with me. I'll miss her. And now with Wendy on the way to Antalya. We stopped in Koshibashi and visited our friends from Bahrain. Then through the mountains, twisty roads, beautiful. With the seaside on the right side. It was actually always amazing. We have done this road many, many times. It's a beautiful road. Actually, in all of Turkey, it's great to drive. Great to drive because you can stop at so many places. There are nice places to eat. There's perfect food on the side of the road. There are very friendly people. Turkey is a beautiful country to drive. Anyway, we are reaching Antalya. The road out of the mountains to Antalya was a bit boring, a lot of traffic. However, it was always good to come to Antalya to visit Wendy's mum. Here we packed up, got the car wrapped up, and hopefully we'll be back in 2 months. 100 million times part of the journey.